to Texas now, where the US Air Force has acknowledged it failed to enter details of Devin Patrick Kelly's 2012 domestic violence offence into a government database used by gun dealers for conducting background checks. Now, domestic violence offences preclude people from gun ownership. Kelly killed 26 parishioners and wounded at least 20 others inside the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs. Officials say because Kelly's conviction wasn't entered, no red flags were raised when he purchased the weapons used in yesterday's massacre. Bridget Burke reports.
Hero Johnny Langendorf recounting the moments he saw gunman Devin Patrick Kelly leaving the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs yesterday after exchanging gunfire with neighbour Stephen Williford outside.
The shooter got in his vehicle and took off. The other gentleman who is a member of this community came, jumped in my truck and said, he just shot up the church, we got to go get him. And I said, okay, let's go. And so from there we blew through this intersection and we started going about 90, 95, keeping up with this guy. The whole time I'm trying to keep the gentleman calm who was in the shooting, and stay on the phone with dispatch so that cops knew exactly where this guy was. It lasted about 10, 12 minutes, the whole chase itself, and then the shooter lost control of his vehicle, ended up in the bar ditch. From then I parked my truck across the road. Me and the other gentleman took refuge behind it, and the other gentleman drew his rifle on the gunman. The gunman never got out of his vehicle.
Killer Devin Kelly, who was discharged from the Air Force in 2012 for assaulting his wife and child, was wearing a ballistic vest at the time of the shooting. Neighbour Stephen Williford is understood to have shot Kelly twice outside the church.
And when that neighbour came up to you initially when you were in your car, I mean, were you just like, let's go? I mean, what was
that's
going
exactly
through your
what
head?
I said, let's go. There was no thought, no hesitation, nothing.
You said there were no thoughts, but you knew the man was armed and you chased after him. There was that fast pursuit. What was going through your mind emotionally?
Nothing. He needed to be stopped. That's it. I mean, that's the bottom line, is that he needed to be stopped. He was stopped, and he's not going to hurt anyone else ever again.
An autopsy has revealed Kelly, who called his father during the pursuit, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Inside his car were 15 loaded weapons. The FBI has revealed there was nothing in its national criminal database to indicate any red flags about Devin Kelly's gun purchases.
I know there's a lot of questions about the FBI NICS system and how did the person get the weapons. I can tell you that for the 4 purchases that he made, the NICS system did their required checks, and there was no prohibitive information in the systems that we checked that say that he could not have purchased that firearm.
Among the 26 dead inside the church were 8 members of one family, one of them a baby girl. Kelly also killed his grandmother-in-law, parishioner Lula White, and church pastor Frank and Sherry Pomeroy's daughter, Annabelle.
We lost more than Belle yesterday, and one thing that gives me a sliver of encouragement is the fact that Belle was surrounded yesterday by her church family that she loved fiercely, and vice versa. Our church was not comprised of members or parishioners. We were a very close family. We ate together, we laughed together, we cried together, and we worshiped together.
Sherry Pomeroy said most of the church's parishioners had been killed, injured, or personally impacted.
Our building is probably beyond repair, and the few of us that are left behind lost tragically yesterday. As senseless as this tragedy was, our sweet Belle would not have been able to deal with losing so much family yesterday. Please don't forget Sutherland Springs.
Pastor Frank Pomeroy, who has led the First Baptist Church for 15 years, said he was still working through what to say to other grieving families.
Christ is the one who's going to be lifted up. And that's what I'm telling everybody. You lean into what you don't understand. You lean into the Lord. And I would just submit this to everyone. My family's here and you guys there. Whatever life brings to you, lean on the Lord rather than your own understanding. I don't understand, but I know my God does.
Meanwhile, calls continue to be made for tighter gun control in light of the massacre. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand calling for an immediate ban on assault weapons and bump stocks.
People who don't want to have an honest conversation say we need to wait. Well, for how long? Because we wait, and we will see evil rear its ugly head over and over again, and we are told to wait again. We have enough information today for Congress to do its job and try to keep our constituents safe from gun violence.
But Senator Ted Cruz said yesterday's shooting was about mental illness and not gun control, as neighbour Stephen Williford's heroic actions had proven.
Well, I can say this, the private citizen who used his own rifle saved lives today. This individual was a sick, deranged murderer.
But if not gun control,
and
what can you do?
Evil. I support the right of individuals to defend themselves. It's a fundamental right that Texans understand, to defend yourself and your family.
10 members of the First Baptist Church remain in hospital, many of them in a critical condition, among them Sue Soto's sister, Rosemary.
Well, you don't think anything like this would happen in such a small town. You know, it's just sad because everybody knows everybody around here, and it's a small town, and you didn't think anything like this would happen over here. You know, because I tell my sister, why over here? Why this little bitty town where nothing ever happens here? And then all of a sudden that happened, and it's just sad.
Police continue to comb inside and outside the church for evidence, and officials have paid tribute to the work of first responders who identified the dead and injured in what the FBI described as an horrific and chaotic crime scene. For Checkpoint, Bridget Burke.